Where?
On.
It's live.
I know, but I forgot to check. Yep.
Told you.
Yeah. Hey,
Pray for
family.
your father.
Oh, let me turn this down and I can look at the comments. I was supposed to do, that was the project this week. The project was for me to look up how to look at the comments.
As they come up on the...
Yeah. All right.
So, hope y'all are doing well. Hope you had a... Oh, this is the second day of the week.
See, it still didn't come up.
I was going to
All right,
say...
so I have to hold the phone.
I was going to say, hope you're having a great week, but it's only the second day of the week. So far, so well. Hope you had going well. And hope you're doing good.
Where's that coming? Still didn't come up.
I was going to say...
All right, so I have to hold the phone. Oh, that's because my phone is connected to the computer.
That's good. Okay. So,
okay.
Hope y'all are doing good. And
can y'all hear us?
We're doing great. If you can hear us, just hit some hearts and all that so we can actually see that you
Praise
can hear and you hear well.
Yes, you made it. Okay, I got hearts. They can hear us. Okay.
So they can hear well. Wonderful.
Let me know if we need the volume to go up at all because I've been doing a lot of stuff on the computer today. So things may be adjusted or need to be adjusted. We are doing well, Elder. We are doing well.
Who that is?
Michael Harvey.
Oh, Michael Harvey. Wonderful. He's tuned in. Praise the Lord. This Louise Jocks and Michael and Sister Carolyn and Rhonda Perkins and
extra
Marlene. Hey, woohoo! Look, it's been a very, 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 very long day. From early this morning to cleaning the garage out to putting up a shelf. What was that?
A cabinet for all of his extra storage stuff.
To painting the wall in the garage and making it nice.
All the extra storage stuff that he's been storing, because he's been storing a lot of stuff. And so all of his storage stuff that he collected during COVID-19. Just saying. That's what that's about.
So you won't call us without.
That you won't.
So,
all right.
Got plenty.
So we have it, and we're gonna get right into it. Let's get into our topic. We did all
Let's
the
get
hellos.
At it.
I mean,
I like Cuomo. He's good.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, you're very high energy today.
You know what? I am.
Okay. And all right. So today's Maddox. No. Today's Maddox. I can't with you.
Okay. Today is Maddox Marriage Mondays.
Patrice,
That's who we are. And hope you guys, once again, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week so far. But we're just going to jump right into this and let's get at it.
All right. So today's topic we're going to be talking about is in the Bible. We're going to be talking about Abigail, and we're going to be talking about her husband Nabal. So the question will be, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background, and then we're going to have this discussion around whether or not we're going to talk We're gonna have a discussion around how do you is this the wisest thing? Now we know that this, if
Is
you
it
know the story
appropriate?
in the Bible, but how do you actually, because we read a lot of things in the Bible, but do we actually know how to implement, or how we can use some of the stuff that we've learned in the Bible in our life in real time?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the situation. So I'm going to go over the narrative so you'll understand. So if you don't know about Abigail, who's a champion in my eyes, and her husband Nabal, who the Bible says that his name means fool.
Oh.
So that's not me. That's what the Bible says.
Oh.
So anyway, according to the Bible, David, if y'all know, he wasn't king yet, and he was having some issues with Saul. Okay, Saul was the king at
Gotcha.
the time. Saul was the king at the time, and so he was having some issues. So he was running from Saul. While he was running from Saul, he went in the wilderness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while he's in the wilderness, there was this man named Nabal and his wife Abigail that lived in this city of Mayon, right? So they owned land. Now they were wealthy people. Like they had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money. They had,
Had it going on.
camel, sheep, goats, and all of this stuff. So they were really, good, and had a lot of money at the time. So they had a lot of festivities going around at this time. And then David sent 10 men to Nabal, right? Now David had killed a lot of people. He was like this warrior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's who he is.
so because he had won a lot of battles and really protected a lot of people because of the battles that they had won, he then sent 10 men to go to Nabal's house and basically said, you know what I'm saying? We have protected your house. We made sure people have not robbed you
Mm-hmm.
and taken your belongings or whatever. So we're
Mm-hmm.
going to need you to do some stuff for us. And basically, what he wanted was, food and some
Take care of us.
necessities,
Take care of the men.
and yeah, just like really take care of us, because
We
basically
watched
in
out for
so many
you.
words we've taken care of you. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
paraphrasing. This is not, this is, my version of the story. Not really, because it's the Bible, but I'm just saying the way I'm saying it is, you know what I'm saying? So you have to go back and read it. All right. It's in Kings. Now, mind you, I love the Bible. I love the Bible, but if you read all the stories, if you really go through and start to dissect the stories, there's a lot of things that can help you, but it's really interesting about what was going on back in the day.
Drama.
Anyway, so Nabal, he sends the men to Nabal's house. Nabal says, nah, partner, like,
Mm-mm. I
no,
ain't doing
I'm
nothing
not
for
giving
you.
you,
We ain't
no,
not. We're not gonna feed you. You on your own.
like, I'm not helping you. Okay, so that's it. Which was really scary for his wife Abigail, because upon her learning that he said no, um,
Mm.
David then was going to send the wrath to their house, right? Because if I'm protecting you and I made sure that your riches stay preserved because of me and my men and how we have, really killed all these people and really protected the town, the thing that David expected was like, if I've taken care of you, basically you take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused. His wife, of course, knew that if that happened, there was going to be some problems not only in their household, but you know what I'm saying?
Period.
Problems. They may not even live, because this is like David is not playing. So David, of course, will probably take everything, but he also may kill them as a result. And so she feels the threat. She knew that this was not a good thing. That was coming onto her household. And so she asks if she can meet David. She manages to meet him and his men before David could get to her house, because he was on his way about to tear up some stuff. And she pleads with David and she offers him the gifts, and she gives him gifts, and she begs that there be no bloodshed. And she was asking to to okay, here's the conversation. She was asking to take Nabal's blame for herself. Like, really blame me for this. Please don't cause any harm to him or whatever. Just please preserve him. And so she gave him all of this stuff, and asked for peace in her household. And she didn't tell Nabal what had happened. She returned. He was drunk. He was, thinking, celebrating all this stuff. And then he ended up having a heart attack and he died about 10 days later, they're saying here. And after David hears of his death or whatever, he sends for Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
And she lives happily ever after with the king. Okay, so I added that. I don't know if it was happily ever after, but she definitely left with the king. Okay. Okay. So anyway.
Question. Go ahead with the question.
No. So the question is, okay. I believe as a wife, there are times in your relationship. Now the Bible calls him a fool. I'm not saying, that any of your husbands or your spouses are fools, because it could go either way or whatever. But there are some things in your relationship where foolish things happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the person may not be a fool, but foolish things happen. And foolish things happen.
That's true.
And you have to make provisions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that Abigail needed to go and marry David after, but she was free to marry him after that point, and she was going to live,
David took care of her.
David took care of her. So, I mean, that was her right to do that after, because the marriage was over. However, prior to that, she made a decision behind her husband's back. She wasn't going to tell him. She had no intentions on telling him.
Mm-hmm.
She went back. He was drunk.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't want to hear nothing, no way.
You know what I'm saying?
Just saying.
He was celebrating he thought he had done a great thing, I guess. And in the midst of his foolishness, she was protecting not only herself, but she was protecting her household.
So, the question
now,
is...
what I know happens in this day and age. First of all, we believe that everything is an open book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we should always be open and honest about things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use for today. As y'all can see, I'm struggling through this conversation. I believe that you have to be wise with finances. Mm-hmm. I think you have to be wise with certain things. Mm-hmm. I think that if your husband is a spender, you should, have money for your family and preserve, because you have to think,
rainy days.
For rainy days. Something and that type of stuff. Yes. And I think that as a wife, I think that we have to do certain things at certain times. And this could be it either, because that can go both ways, right? Because it could be the wife that's foolish, right? And she could be the person not just spending, because spending is one thing, but the wife could be doing some other stuff that is not productive for the family. I'm so stupid. And so I just think that's my take on it. I think Abigail, I actually respect Abigail as I'm stuttering through this. I respect her. I respect what she did. I do believe that she used wisdom as to why she didn't tell her husband. Right? I don't think that would have been wise, because that would have disrupted her household. It would have disrupted her household if she would have told him. I'm just saying, help a sister out. Anybody?
So
okay, wait a minute.
You didn't put the question out.
I do, and that's they understand the question.
Well,
they understand what I'm saying. So the Sister Hodges says, the woman who is the man's help me, because that's what the Bible says, right? Will often have to stand in the gap. Sister Hodges, you understand me. Okay, when bad decisions prevail in the man, it is good for the woman to respectfully stand in the gap. Now, in standing in the gap, do you share what you have done?
Okay. So Delona said, I had a minister tell me she wanted David. And that's why she did what she did.
You think so?
You know what?
She did not want David. I don't believe that. She got David in the end. Now, I'm not mad at her. David sent for her, though. She didn't see it and say, hey, David, my husband died. He sent for her upon hearing that her husband had died. Matter of fact, he died of a heart attack or whatever. It was like natural causes or whatever. So I'm saying that I don't. So the question is, Armand, Do you think that it is wise for either spouse at any point in a marriage when somebody is making a foolish decision that can harm your household, whether or not you should keep that to yourself and not share that information? I know we live in the age that everything is an open book and we want to tell everything that happens. I can say that there are certain things I've had to use wisdom as it relates to my children. There were certain things that had happened that I didn't feel that it would be wise to share with my husband. Now, we have shared years down the line, but at the time, there was no way in the world I was going to share certain information because it was going to cause problems. Like, it would cause problems with my child. I'm just saying. Wait.
No,
I'm reading.
forget all that. I want to know what.
No, I'm not going over what. I'm just saying, years down the line, there is just...
We are years down the line. We're 29 years now.
There's just things that has happened in my children, that I have known that I just didn't feel comfortable at the moment with sharing with my husband. Because,
so how would I react?
Because of the response. I had to use wisdom because I had to look at the relationship. I had to look at your relationship with them. What type of damage it would have caused. Yeah. When we were younger, I saved a lot of money because I am a saver.
Yes,
and so I didn't say how much until we needed the money. And then it was like, we got it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't put it out there. I didn't say all the time.
You're veering from that question.
I'm not answering that question. I'm definitely not answering that question. Sister Hodges says the slate must be clean, but timing is key. Lona said, I'm just saying. Look. Ain't nothing changed. Some women always want status instead of the person. Are you serious, Woods? That has nothing to do with it. That is not the point of the question.
Motives. Sometimes they have motives.
It has
now, I'm not saying Abigail was looking. Okay, I'm going to say motives. David wasn't trying to kill Nabal so he can get Abigail.
She didn't kill him.
I know. I'm just saying. David remembered Abigail.
David remembered Abigail. Why?
And
why did he remember? Because y'all making it about Abigail. I mean, y'all making it about David. This Abigail is not about David.
Okay, I'm gonna say it this way. Abigail had some integrity, and her husband had died, and David remembered Abigail. So David went back, got Abigail, and Abigail gladly went on to be with David. I'm not saying I'm not mad at her. Not mad at her. But she by herself.
Yes.
She's free.
Yes.
So she can go on and be with King David.
Her husband died. And David saw fit to go get her because of what she had done. Now, I'm not saying there's no benefits.
She had some oomph about herself as to why he remembered her. He remembered what she did.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm giving Abigail a little bit. He remembered what she did. Remembered her sacrifice. Remember how she did for her home. Remember how she did even for her husband. And he died. And she went on to be with...
Y'all wanting to make this about David.
I'm not.
This is
I'm not making it about David.
Let's put David to the corner, okay?
Abigail
that was the prize. David was the prize at the end of the thing. Like, David came in, whatever. She was married to a fool. Not calling any husbands or any wives a fool. I'm just saying that's the Bible
because says. His name means fool.
That's what the Bible says.
He made a foolish decision and a foolish call when it came down to protecting his home, protecting his wife, protecting his family.
Yes.
And ultimately, he lost his life. He ends up dying, and then she moves on.
Okay. Now, again, the point of the story is that she kept a secret from her husband. She had no plans on telling him. She went behind his back. She met them. She went out.
Yes, she did.
She packed her gifts. She put some stuff in a bag. Honey, she got a gun. She got it going on. She got it all together. She met him. And said, do no harm. And matter of fact, blame me for my husband's foolishness. Here is the gifts. I will serve you. Here's the gifts. Here's the things. And she served that man. And what she ended up doing was protecting her household. That is the point. She saved her household. The point also is that she planned, here's the question of 2020. She had no plan on telling her husband. She had no plans. Now she went behind his back, saved her whole household. Listen to me. The land,
so the
her
point
husband,
is,
and herself.
the point is, she saved her
She
household.
was smart.
She saved her husband's life,
Yes, she did.
and they were preserved.
Yes, but she kept a secret. And is it
So
okay?
the
Because we're in the
question is-
age where you tell everything. And I understand, like Wood says.
I feel like, as
Wood
I was
says you
always
gotta
taught,
tell it all.
I think some things are better left unsaid in that respect.
In that respect?
In that respect. She did the same thing. Some things are better left unsaid because it saved her household, right?
No.
No.
Okay, let's
That's what she did. She didn't tell her husband.
Keith.
I'm not saying it wasn't wise. It was wise.
Keith, let me tell y'all. Keith is not this. I don't know why he's using that. Some things are better left unsaid.
I'm just
in this scenario because that's not where that comes from, and you know that's not where you're.
She's doing just that. All I'm saying is that's what she's doing.
Okay, so let me tell you this. So he believes in our youth. He believed that some things better left unsaid is if it's going to hurt you, if your feelings are going to be hurt by it, and I messed up. Say I messed up. I did something real bad. Okay. That's then, and you're going to be hurt, and it's just going to cause more problems.
Look,
some things are better left unsaid. I remember the day you told me that. So don't you sit up here and try to use that as the scenario in this, because that's not the scenario in this.
So then,
this was to benefit the family. Okay. Let's see what the people say.
So let's find out.
All right. So Mama Joyce says, I totally agree with you. My mom used to say, there are some things you take to your grave. Okay. Alona says the relationship between a mother and a child is different, and we have to prepare the father sometime. I agree. Simone said, I bet. You are right. Wood said, you're right. It's not about David, but King David. No, whatever. I'm not entertaining
Christine.
that. Then also, who's gonna tell the king no? Exactly. Right. The king called for her, right? Sister Josh says, yes, because the feelings were mutual. Right. They're grown at this point. You just said a fool. Yes, he was a fool. That was his fault. In this case, it was to save his life. She was benefiting. Okay, how many women, how many other women how many other secrets women be hiding? It's not about that.
So she did this. She did a good thing because it saved her life, her family's life, and she watched out for her family. Okay, that's a wonderful thing, Abigail. And Abigail is now in the king's palace.
You know what? I don't think we're going to get anywhere in this conversation. Christina says she did, but her intentions wasn't bad. Her intentions was not bad.
I'm not saying it was bad.
Her intentions was not bad.
They were never bad. She lucked up. Am I right?
Lucked up?
Okay.
This is not...
Okay, maybe not lucked up. She benefited from the decision that she made.
Okay, so she reaped the benefit. I absolutely believe that she reaped the benefit. However, everybody, and only it just seems like the women seem to be getting the point. The men seem to be missing the point. I do believe, this is my personal, because y'all want to focus on David. And
I'm not focusing on David.
And what she got as a result of, being with David. I'm
going to say this. I'm not to cut you off. She absolutely, Abigail was a wise woman. She absolutely took a risk for herself,
there you go,
for her family,
there you go,
and for their well-being. She took a risk.
Armand said Abigail seems like she was fine.
And
because
of the risk she took to save her household.
So is it fair to say that it is okay in marriages that if it is something that you feel is going to harm your household, you take care of it and you keep that information to yourself?
So that's the question.
That is the question.
Is it beneficial?
Marcia Taylor said her entire household benefited. You are absolutely right. She saved the day. Now, it ain't her fault that her husband died. It is
Okay,
not her fault
no,
that her
I'm
husband
not
died.
saying that's her
And
fault.
she married, and David sent for her. That's not her fault at all.
So,
but what she did was, the point that just
she
stood
took
out
a
in the
risk.
text
She
is
took a
that
risk to save herself and her family. That's what she did.
That I get that, but I'm saying the point is, I felt that her intent, the part that jumped out to me, is that she didn't intend on telling her husband. Like, that wasn't her intent. She didn't come home to say, this is what I did. She went behind his back. And yes, it benefited the family. But she went behind his back for the sake of his family. I mean, for the sake of their family. And
So,
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I do believe that there are certain things, especially if your partner, and I think it depends on the partner. I think if your spouse is not reasonable, you know what I'm saying? If he is not reasonable,
why gotta be he?
or she is not
If your
reasonable.
spouse, if your spouse is not reasonable, and it benefits the household, well, when do you tell the spouse of something that was done
I
that
don't know. He
benefited the
died,
household?
so I don't know. I'm just saying.
That just bailed her out of it.
I'm just saying. Armand says, no, it's not okay because secrets become problems. I don't know. That's not the story the Bible is telling. She planted a seed that she didn't know what she did. Exactly, Alona. That is right. I agree. Wood says, some things my wife don't need to know. Trust me. Now, see how that worked for you, but don't work for no, Woods. That don't work. Could she, wait. She didn't say, oh, could it be that she didn't say anything because he was literally a fool? Exactly. You see, when she got home, he was drunk. So he probably was going to act up. He probably was going to call David and be like, you know what? Give me all that stuff back. I know my wife gave you that. Or maybe he would have popped her. You know what I'm saying? He probably would have said, you know what, David? No, I know she gave you all that stuff, but I want all my stuff back. And that, of course, would have got his head chopped off because David wasn't playing that. Okay, so, David and his boys was not playing that. They would have lost everything, and he would, because David, he probably would have killed all them and still took his wife. So I'm just saying, David was that kind.
So he was, well, yeah, he was just that kind.
Sister Hodges said she was protecting herself, which she had the right to do. They was gonna kill. David was not okay. Everybody, if you know the story of David, you know that David didn't play no games.
Right, but it's still not an issue. Yes, she did protect herself. She protected herself. She protected her household, and you can't get away from her reaping a benefit from making a decision that was risky.
Right. No, you definitely can't blame her for that.
She made decisions risky.
Wood said you shouldn't keep secrets, but he thinks he can. I don't know. Wood, he probably was drunk because of her. Some women would drive you to drink.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not.
Be careful; it can get out of control. There you go. There's the wisdom. See.
Before you can tell yourself.
See, there is the wisdom, Sister Lona. That is it. She says, be careful. It can get out of control and come out before you can tell it yourself. That is wisdom. That is wisdom. So you do have to think about this. I wouldn't necessarily use Abigail's method in everything. I think you have to consider your spouse, consider who you're dealing with, and also use a whole lot of wisdom. And make sure that you are telling before somebody else tells. So there may be a point where you do tell, but maybe it's at a different time in life.
You don't want to be in a position where all of a sudden something secret like that comes out, and then all of a sudden your spouse hears it for the first time. Yeah, you're right. That can create a whole lot of problems.
Sister Hodges says, but she only went to the king after her husband was dead. I keep telling them that. She honored her marriage. She could have offered him more out of being afraid. Exactly. Marcia says she can tell him later, but not in the moment of a crucial. It's exactly a crucial decision. Yes, David was on his way to kill them, and she met him en route. Exactly. So the thing is, every spouse, based on your growth and development and your ability to handle the information, you gotta pray. You got to seek God, ask God some questions, and then you got to have peace with it. Ask God when is the right time to tell. This is what I believe, and then you share that information at the appropriate time. That's just what I'm saying.
This is the appropriate time.
That's what I'm saying. So if there is going to cause problems, if there is going to be problems, or it's going to cost your life because that's dangerous stuff, I don't recommend. I don't recommend.
She moved by faith, that's for sure.
I don't recommend, but it shows you, the benefit of her faithfulness.
Now, I'm not chauvinistic. Honestly, Abigail did a wonderful. She made a wonderful, fearful move because she didn't know what the outcome was going to be.
Yep.
So again, based on your relationship that you have with your spouse,
yes,
it is always good to communicate one with another. And then if your spouse tells you, well, I didn't tell you because you would have da 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 at that time, it wasn't wise for me to tell you, then I can see the wisdom in that.
Oh, that's it. That's a perfect way to end this. All right, so there you have it.
So
use wisdom.
If you by yourself, you can make all the decisions you want. But if you have a spouse, and depending on your relationship.
Or it is better that if you are planning on getting married or have a desire to get married, it is a good idea to examine some of that stuff now.
Sure.
And have a conversation with the person that you are dating. When you get into, these are the hard questions you have to ask before you get into a marital relationship and you've made this covenant and you don't know. Because if you are used to keeping secrets and you don't plan on telling nothing, that may be detrimental to your relationship.
True.
And if you are a person who don't, or you flip off at everything and that person don't feel safe with telling you anything, that can cause a problem in your marriage. So it is good to have that conversation prior to. We had to find out all of this stuff as we grew. But I can say our goal is to save you a whole lot of time and be wise. Just be wise. Be wise in your relationship. Stay prayerful. Seek God for answers. And also, husbands deal with your wives according to knowledge. And wives also know who you're with. Know who you're dealing with. And always do what's in the best interest of the family. Don't do it just to be sneaky because you're trying to be sneaky.
Right.
So, all right.
Good conversation,
there y'all. There we go. And Alonis, on a final note, she says she knew because David had a reputation. Yeah, she did know that. Okay. No more.
David. It is so good to see you all. Have a great week. Have a great week. Remember to wash your hands. Remember to wear your mask. Remember to take care of yourself and take care of each other. This is Maddox Marriage Mondays, and we'll see you back here, same time, same station. Have a great week.
He's so funny.